Welcome to another episode of the Popcorn People Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we're going to do a little award season catch up. We're going to talk about the National Board of Review's top films, AFI's top 10 movies, and then we're going to give our little bit of rankings of those movies. We'll probably drop some what do we do? Recommendations. That's what we're talking about. Some recommendations for you guys. And talk about some of the movies that we recently seen. As always, joined by my partner in crime here, Mr. Don Fisher. How are you, bud?
Boom, 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 pop, 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 pop. Man, I'm doing all right. You know, yesterday, if people aren't aware, we had some tornadoes, and I happened to be down the street from one of them in Madison. We had a little family thing we were doing with my wife's family. The sirens start going off. We're outside, nowhere near our home, and we had to seek shelter. We go to Rivergate Mall to the JCPenney because it's like a concrete fortress, and we were in there for about an hour and a half until they unlocked the doors. They weren't going to let anybody in, well, I guess they would have let somebody in if they really had to, but they weren't letting anybody out. Yeah, it was interesting. Very interesting.
It was quite a day. They just started coming out of nowhere, and it's just crazy. Like they're just it's so terrifying. And then like the tornado sirens, when they go off, it's just like kind of just brings chills down your spine almost. You know what I mean? It's like, what's going to happen? And then
the cell service I did have, I was, I think my buddies were like, asking what's going on. I was like, bro, it's starting to feel like The Mist or Leave the World Behind. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I've never been, besides one other time, where there's a tornado situation and been away from my house. So it's like trying to not panic at all. My stepson, he was deep panic. My wife is very alert and active when it comes to storms. And I'm just trying to compose and stay stoic as much as possible because I don't want anybody to feel like there's a real worry,
Yeah, it's wild because it's like, and then you just kind of look on the news or you look on social media. Like I thought about this, yesterday. I was like, man, what did people do when there wasn't social media? Like,
I know
I just guess you get the play-by-play on the radio station. You know what I mean? But still, it's like, because it's like whenever but then like social media kind of makes it worse because then you're like on social media trying to get updates of where like the tornadoes are, or you're watching a specific thing. And then out of nowhere, it's like, oh, there's a tornado that just like struck down like 10 minutes from your house. It's like,
yeah.
So then it like freaks you out a little bit. But yeah, it's
pretty. And then seeing those videos
wild.
too, that video of it like blowing up a power station and
right.
Weird, the power went out
into the air.
And it's
like that was,
and it just makes you think like more and more like it feels fake, right? Because like, how is this possible? And then it's like, how in 2023 going into 2024 have we not like invented something to disperse a tornado? I know Mother Nature is hard to control, but we've done crazier things that you would think that there'd be something that we have that could control that shit.
I don't know. That sounds weird, but I mean, I don't disagree with you. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's pretty wild. But it's been a wild, crazy few weeks. Dom and I are in the midst of, well, not in the midst. It's over now. Like our Critics' Choice ballots were due. Did you go down to the wire with it? We're not going to talk about our picks or anything like that. We're going to save those for. We're going to save those for whenever after the nominees are announced, which the nominees are going to be announced on the 13th. For those of you who don't know, Dom and I will be discussing those. And then, of course, we'll be sharing some of our ballot and talking about our ballot as we dissect the nominations that are announced. But did you kind of go down to the wire? How did you handle it?
I did a little bit. Friday, I got off work because I'll get off early on Fridays. Went and saw Godzilla -1 and came home and watched Origin. And then after then, I just kind of started completing my list. I think I had another movie in the background that I had already seen, just to kind of, I want to know where I want to place it. But yeah, I mean, I never cut it too close, but close enough to where like I gotta get some of these other ones in that even if the chatter is just small, but it's ones that like could be those big hits, and that's what I heard about Godzilla -1, and it wasn't the hit that I thought it was gonna be, but I had to see it for myself. I'm not, for people that don't know, when we vote, the majority of us, because I can't speak for everyone, but we try our best not to vote for anything that we haven't seen. If we haven't seen it, if it gets nominated, then we'll watch it before we do our final votes and stuff. So
yeah, for sure.
So there's, of course, there's probably a few that I haven't seen, possibly that Ricky hasn't seen, but we're not going to put down things just because other people are putting it down.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Like, yeah, that's the big thing is we try to watch everything we can. We can't watch everything. We're not, you know what I mean? Like, we got a lot going on, but I'd say of the quote unquote heavy hitters, I watched a lot of what everybody was talking about and a lot of the things that I really wanted to see. When it comes, and it's crazy because for those of you who don't know, we'll talk more about the process when we talk about the show, but it's like you only get 5 slots in Best Picture, but 3 slots in everything else. The 3 slots in everything else makes it hard, but then you want to try to me, that's where I took it down the path of, all right, let me throw some picks in there that, see, I go the route of, okay, I really feel like this is going to get nominated, so I don't feel like it needs my vote.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to boost the numbers of some other performances that I really love.
Yeah.
Like, not to take away from the performances that I do love, I don't, but there's like, I mean, for instance, like Zac Efron, The Iron Claw. I really would love to see him get nominated. I really want to see that movie get some love. And I painted it all over the place not just because I loved it, but like when you only have 3 picks, it's really hard to kind of go through the weeds of everything. So, like I said, December 13th, Critics' Choice nominations come out. That's probably what we'll be talking about next weekend on the show. Very excited to dissect those, kind of see where Dom's head's at on movies and what he voted for and stuff like that. We probably won't reveal our entire ballots, but we'll give you some idea of where we went with some picks. I'm very excited about it because, like I said, I'd love to see where Dom went on some of the picks. Before
we get into it, there's always from certain people that maybe trying too hard, maybe they've been doing this for a long time. There's always this kind of talk of some people being like, this is a bad year for movies. Ooh. And it happens. I feel like I see it every year. It wasn't the best year for movies. And I'm like, what are you trying to see? Like, what are you trying to get at? I like to think I can speak for Ricky on this too, is that we take the movies as they come. We're not expecting that you know what? I'd love to see a movie that's as good as The Godfather this year. It's like, no, like whatever comes out, we have to take it as it comes. And some are phenomenal and some are not that great, but I'm not going to compare, a certain movie to like a movie that's considered one of the greatest of all time. I just don't think that that's fair. And I think I heard a musician talking about that, John Baptiste in an interview saying at Juilliard, they will look at something and they compare it to Bach, they compare it to Beethoven because they consider that the best of the best, meaning that you can never get to that point. You can match them, but you can never outdo them, and that's not fair in any art genre. So like you have to take stuff for what it is and moves with the times. And sometimes when these classics that people talk about, you go back and watch them now with today's lens, and you're like, it's all right. I mean, it's not what y'all say it was, but I mean, for what that time, yeah. But now the time is different, and we have to take the films at what they are now.
Yeah, it's crazy because there's a lot of great films over the years that do stand the test of time, that you do rewatch and they are fantastic, and then there's other movies that don't. And the thing about it is a great movie is great today, tomorrow, and 50 years from now. And there's a lot of movies that don't stand the test of time. It's hard to say, like if I like a certain film, it's hard to say it's the greatest movie of all time. I personally feel like you need to be able to watch that movie again in 5 years and feel like that's your best movie of all time. I say that Past Lives is one of my favorite movies of this decade. since 2020. It's definitely up there, and it painted a lot of love. But it's crazy because this year, when I was going through my ballot, but I was also kind of fine tuning my top 10 of this year, I found so many great films that I wanted to put in my top 10 that I just can't, I just don't have, like, I have to take something great out in order to put it something. And it's like two films I really wanted to rewatch was Oppenheimer and Poor Things. Two films that I loved on their first watch, and I just haven't had a chance to rewatch because I'm trying to watch everything else.
Right.
And Oppenheimer's not really the easiest watch because it is a long period. And Poor Things isn't just something that you can just bust out on the damn airplane and watch because of there's some suggestive things that you're watching in the movie. But it's definitely two films that like Oppenheimer is like, how is Oppenheimer not in my top 5? But then it's like, because this, and this came out. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different things. I don't know. It's been a great year for film. And I think because of that, we are in the midst of award season, which I'm absolutely in love with the idea of being here. And this past week, the award season really got jump-started with the National Board of Review releasing some of their picks for not just best movies, but best performances and stuff like that. And we're just going to kind of go through those. And also, we'll do AFI first because we're going to rank National Board of Review's top 9 movies of the year in our order after we talk about them. But for AFI, their top 10 movies, they actually did their top 10 TV shows of the year, and we had Abbott Elementary make the list, The Bear, Beef, Jury Duty, The Last of Us, The Morning Show, Only Murders in the Building, Poker Face, Reservation Dogs. Is that Reservation? Yeah. And then Succession. To be honest with you, like, this is a very, very solid list. I have not seen, and don't kill me, y'all, I have not watched Abbott Elementary. I watched one episode once and I died laughing. It's just, network TV is hard to watch because there's a lot of it, but also just trying to get in the weeds of, like, TV for me is like, if I'm not watching it weekly or reviewing it, then it's hard for me to watch right now. So I really liked The Bear. Obviously, season 2 was fantastic. Beef was great. Beef was very good. Jury Duty was pretty wild. It's cool to see them. Last of Us was a little underwhelming for me. I loved Succession, was hit and miss, but it stuck the landing. And I didn't like Poker Face, but that's all I've seen really. I haven't seen the newest season of The Morning Show. So
I think the only ones I've seen, like, the complete, all the episodes, is Abbott, Reservation Dogs. I watched the first season of The Bear and like 2 episodes of season 2. I saw the first season of Only Murders in the Building, and I did not care for Jury Duty. I didn't finish. I think I got through 2 or 3, and I got bored. It was redundant to me.
It's fine. Like, it's
I was
fine.
And it was like so cringy to me. I just couldn't make it through. I kept seeing everybody like boast about it, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't.
I'm trying to think of like what else came out this year TV wise that like didn't make this list that could have made it over the Jury Duty.
The,
you know what
the
I mean?
new season of Yellow Jackets, maybe.
I didn't see that.
Let's
see here, 2023. Right.
What
Let me
else?
see what TV shows I've written about this year. Shrinking. Wow, Shrinking. Holy shit. Shrinking didn't make this
Jason.
list. Yeah, Jason Segel and Harrison Ford. Oh, that's freaking fantastic. That not making this list is really upsetting to me.
Yeah, I don't
right at the top of my list.
I mean, I get that like Jury Duty was kind of this phenomenon, I guess, in the way that it was made.
TV show.
Yeah,
top 10 TV show of the year.
I after like that initial weekend, maybe 2
Swarm?
weekends. Right.
Swarm is easily one of the best series from this year. Not even close.
I don't know, man.
There's some good TV this year. All right. Yeah. For their movies on the other side, on the movie side of things, they did do some great stuff here. American Fiction, a movie that I adore. And the more I think about it, I watched it a second time. I love it. Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, May, December, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which, by the way, I did finally watch. For those of you wondering, I've yelled at me consistently about watching it. It's fine. It's not better than the first one, and the first one was not that great. So it's fine. Like, it's fine.
They're gonna come for you.
It is. Look, like, they're fine. I just feel like, to me, there was a lot going on in this one. I feel like what made the first one kind of special was it was more grounded. Mm-hmm. I feel like, and the first one, like I said, and I say I didn't love it. I mean, everybody says it's like a masterpiece. To me, I like the first one was like a 3.5-star movie. Like, I really liked it. I didn't love it as much as everybody. And I've said this before that it needs to like be a home run for me. But like with Across the Spider-Verse, all of the characters and all of the nonsense, and it's like I'm tired of that in comic book movies. But I mean, it's cool to look at. It's like cool, you know what I mean? It's not as good as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but you know what I mean? Like, I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but yeah, what did you think of the AFI's pick here? I thought it was pretty solid, except for
I don't know about May December. I mean, I do know. I don't think it belongs there.
I was about to say we know.
And I watched it. I watched it a second time. It's I look, and I know when I tell you, I want to like it. I want to see what everybody else sees in it, but it's just not hitting. It's like you pass me some mid, man. Like, it's not hitting. I'm not getting high off that. I'm sorry. But no, no. And I honestly, and I think congratulations on, the push for it. I mean, they're championing it and it's working, and that's they're doing it successfully, and that's what they're supposed to do. It's just not a hit for me. I don't think it's a hit for a lot of people, honestly. I think there's just the ones who are championing it are very loud about it. But other than that, But no, I think my list is not that far off from this, so
yeah, I think it's a really good list. I mean, it's really hard not to look at this list and be like, okay, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's pretty solid, you know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, I don't know. American
I wonder how if it is like, oh, you know what? They have it in alphabetical order, don't they? Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I wonder how they have it ranked. I know, because somebody like, I want to put it in order, but like, all right, I'll put it in ABC order.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So before we dive into National Board of Review's top 10 movies, we'll talk about some of the awards they gave out here. Let's see. Outstanding achievement in stunt artistry. Of course, John Wick Chapter 4. That surprises nobody. It's crazy to think that Rodrigo Prieto not only did the cinematography work on Barbie, but also Killers of the Flower Moon. It's funny. I talked to him about this. We had a conversation about this, and he said that he filmed Killers of the Flower Moon first, then went to Barbie. But he said it was crazy because he said there was some things that he was able to utilize in Killers of the Flower Moon that he brought to Barbie. And I'll tell you what, if in my opinion, I would love to see this man double nominated, because I'm on record for my lack of love for Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't think it's that great, but one of the best things about it is the cinematography. And then, of course, with Barbie, it pops like no movie I've ever seen. Like, it really pops in a way. And it's a challenging pop, because you have to have the authentic human element, but these character elements and then these doll elements that really kind of balances it across the board. So I'm happy with both of. I'm actually happy with both wins. I didn't like I thought John Wick Chapter 4 was about 3 hours too long, but the stunt and the escalator scene alone deserved it. Oh, yeah,
Chad is. If Chad's not top, if he's not number one in all of movies, he's number two. The stunt, his choreography is crazy.
It's insane. So let's see here. Moving right along. Let's talk Best Animated Feature, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That surprises absolutely nobody. Yeah. Best Directorial Debut, Celine Song for Past Lives. The happiest I've... Wait a minute. Have you seen it now since?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, like, I think what makes a movie so special is...
Let's get this focused.
Yeah. I think if you show this to a person who's not like a movie lover, like they're like, I like movies, okay, I like TV better, but you show them this movie, they might at first go, I mean, it was a movie, and you go, no. But think about the concept that was brought to this movie and the real life ramifications of this possibly happening. Because I think that this movie is very grounded but very imaginative, because it'd be very hard for especially an American born man to go, no, I mean, this guy was like your childhood love and y'all kind of, got separated. It wasn't your fault you got separated. That it was, your parents. And I love you. I want to see you happy. So like, go kick it with homie. And just so for peace of mind, for yourself, for me, and because it's one thing to have a lingering question, but when it can be answered and kind of know, like, I think my love is strong enough to withstand me letting this test happen, like, that's nuts. That is nuts. And it's really cool to see how he like kind of welcomes the guy into his house, and then the whole like seeing you happy makes me like mad type. It's like, because he's such a nice, they're both such nice guys, and you're like, who do I root for? And that's put you in that predicament. Neither guy is an asshole. One guy just is, we met, we fell in love. The other guy's like, no, this is like the girl I was going to marry since I was a kid. And just that dynamic and her being conflicted, like, I married this man, but what if? And whether people want to admit it or not, we always have that what if moment at some point in life. Whether you're dating somebody when you're older, whether you're settled into a life, you always do that. There was that one. What would it have been like? And there's no slide or shade to the person you're with. It's just, we're humans. We're going to think about something that was it fizzled for some reason. You moved away. You were, sworn to never talk to this person, or you're a family member were like, hey, they're a different race or religion. You can't be with them. So you're going to wonder, what if? And that's what this movie is. It's this big emotional what if that, like, it's like warm tea and tears.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think what I like you said, it takes, first off, it takes a real man to step to the side, and that's why his performance to me is so profound. Like, and what I love, I mean, just the little lines of like, you dream in a language I can't understand. Like that,
I know.
And then like when he hit like later on, first off, the way she shoots the bar scene when they're all sitting together is absolutely absurd, because like you block out, John Magaro's character for like a hot minute. And then, but when he says to her, he goes, I never knew liking your husband would hurt so much.
What it is.
Man,
yeah.
like, woof.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And you're right. The thing about it is the thing about Past Lives is it's a simplistic film. And it's not a story that really, it hasn't been told this way, but it's not something brand new, but it's how she tells it, how she organizes it, how she structures it. And the thing about it is she never makes any of the characters bad guys. Like you don't have a villain. You might have some parts of people that might be rooting for them to like, this is your soulmate. This is it. But when it comes all together, it makes you realize that like, she's exactly where she's supposed to be. And like how she does that with the raw emotions of this film is just out of this world. Like, yeah,
and that opening shot is so great where it's supposed to be, it's our perspective, and like, who's with who? Is it like they are on a date and that's like the driver, or this person is a best friend, like the third wheel, and not one of them gets the right answer. Yeah. And then later on, we get to see exactly what that whole scenario plays out to be. And I just think it's cool to see that, because he doesn't think about appearances. As he's doing this whole experiment, he's not thinking about how he's going to look, but that's how most of us would think. What are people going to think when they see me if my wife is talking to this other dude in this kind of intimate way? And at the end of the day, you know, it is going to be someone going to say something, but they don't know what's going on. They don't know you. Who cares? But it's interesting to see from that perspective because it's exactly what we all do. Either we're people watching or we're normally in our head about how's this going to look. Because I know I would be. I'd probably be like, yo, they're going to think I'm
because
like
her entire
a
body, her entire body is turned to him. Like he's not even like, and like I said, even at the beginning of the movie, like not one of their guesses was that he was the husband. And this is like, these are because of the way their body language is. Like she's turned towards him like they're having a conversation. And there was just something powerful in how she wrote John Magaro's character, because you don't see a man written like that. You always see that character written in a way where he gets mad, he's jealous, he freaks out, he screams, he yells, all of these things. We see a man being a man and owning up to, like, letting his wife, trusting his wife, allowing his wife to take part in this conversation with this woman the way that he does, or this man that he knows deep down that he's traveling across the country to see my wife. Like, and just allows the process to happen. And at the end of the day, he's rewarded for his faith and his trust in her, because when she comes back, she knows, you know what I mean? Like, it's like
the ultimate showing of like masculinity.
Yeah,
that's what masculinity is. He was like, you know what? Like, I should let this happen because I don't want there to be resentment. And then also, I think I'm in a good enough place for myself and what we built that we'll be okay. But if not, she's happy either way. And you're like, fuck, dude. Like, I have to. It makes you reevaluate like your outlook on life and how you view things, because you know you always see like in old TV shows, old movies where people go to visit someone at their house and they hug and kiss each other on the cheek and stuff. But nowadays, if you did that to someone's wife, they'd be ready to fight you. And it's like, no, it's like a hello. It's not
like thing. Like, it's a respect thing. It's like just how we do, like how you doing.
And it shows kind of like this stuff can happen again. We can have this same kind of connection and not be weird. But you know, times have changed, and you know, but these stories kind of can help sway things back to a certain echelon of time where we kind of were more confident in ourselves and didn't have the things going on that we have going on now. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's such a great. I forgot that we were in the weeds here. Yes, I really do have a Knuff hoodie. Yes, I do.
And it's comfortable too.
It really is, dude. It's like it's worth the $70, folks. It really is. Like,
it's like walking around as your own teddy bear. Because I got one too.
Exactly. So, all right. Sorry, we got off the rails a little bit there, because then, I mean, speaking of the great things on this breakthrough performance, Tiana Taylor for 1001. I'm so happy she's getting recognized. It is a great performance.
That's one I still have to watch. But I know from everything I've seen her in, I've known she's destined for greatness. I'm glad to see her getting celebrated finally.
I hope she gets a role in there's a lot of these smaller movies that won't get the respect they deserve through award season, but I'm hoping like someone like Taylor is given the opportunity in a bigger film with a bigger director to re-showcase this again. McNamara, I think Tony McNamara. Yeah. First off, I've never read the book, okay, but the way it was adapted to this big screen has to be a great thing because it's a film that blows me away. It's really incredible. I can't wait to rewatch it. Honestly, in that process I knew in my head, I was like, you know what, Emma Stone's going to be there. So like, I'll go back and rewatch the film just so I can remember that performance, because there's so many great lead actress performances this year. It bothers me. Like it's really a great year for actors.
That's the movie where you tell somebody, we're going to watch this and I need you to have an open mind.
Yeah.
Because especially if you're a man showing this to a woman, you're gonna, unless they really know you, they're gonna be like, you just want to watch this for this. It's like, no, take in what the movie is trying to say.
It's fantastic. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right. Best Killers of the Flower Moon, almost sweep here. Best actress, Lily Gladstone. That's debatable. Supporting. But best actor, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers. I don't hate it. I just the movie's fine. Like, it's a good movie. I just think that it's not.
Yeah, it's better choices.
Best director, Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm not high on that movie, and honestly, Yorgos for Poor Things would have been a better choice here for me.
Yeah.
And then best film overall, Killers of the Flower Moon. It just kind of swept the big dogs here, and that kind of surprised me a little bit.
I don't think that film is gonna win.
Thank you, Joe. Joe.
I personally like the movie, but I don't have it. I wouldn't have it winning, and I don't think I have it winning in any category. I don't believe.
Okay, so this is an interesting conversation. I think Oppenheimer takes home Best Picture and Best Director. I'm mixed on this. I do think that Nolan does win Best Director. I really do think he wins Director. Picture, I'm not 100% sold on yet, but I'm not 100% sold on what I think is going to win Best Picture, because I really do feel like it's Oppenheimer. It could be Barbie. It could be Poor Things. I think Poor Things is in the mix, but I think once the award season comes to full fruition, it wouldn't surprise me if Oppenheimer takes both, though.
It's definitely going to be hard to beat the Barbenheimer. Like, Barbie's a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Even if you think the movie is okay, it's a cultural phenomenon. I mean, it took something that had no words attached to it and gave it life and gave it context to what Barbie has meant through generations of women and kids and whoever played with Barbie. So it's like, it's hard to not feel that impact at all.
It's so crazy. Every time I watch that movie, I like it even more.
Yeah.
I've seen that movie 7 or 8 times now, 8 times. And every time I watch it, I like it more. I think Ryan Gosling gives one of the best performances of the year in that movie. And it's crazy because every time you watch that movie, if you break the performance down, it shouldn't work. The movie shouldn't work at all.
Yeah, not at all.
But that's the reason why I do think that Barbie should win original screenplay, though, too. So,
I do also think what helped Barbie is the fact that their marketing was so vague.
Oh yeah, because when you went to watch the movie, you really had no clue what the hell you were about to watch.
No, none at all. We saw some musical numbers and the vibrant colors, and we're like, what is it about? And I think that's what a successful marketing does. We don't need 3-minute trailers, because then you get to see Godzilla and King Kong running and it looks horrendous. Like, no, I don't need no. Keep them short. We need to be surprised.
Please do. All right. Best international film, Anatomy of a Fall. Yes.
That was really
You've seen it?
Yeah.
So, okay. Can you tell me, why are we not talking about the little kid enough? That little kid in that final scene? The final courtroom scene, bro?
Okay. So we have I will say we have this one category for best, and I think it's a lot of film groups. Best actor, actress under the age of 21. He's on my list. Because the whole movie, I'm
number one.
Who is this kid? And why is no one talking about him?
And then the final scene in the courtroom.
Oh yeah.
Get out of here, dude. That movie, and to be honest with you, that movie's fantastic. Like, it's so good. And it's like, it's structured so beautifully. I love it so much. It's insane. But he is like my number one young actor, actress, or whatever this year. We got a question here from Yo Bosses. What awards do we really see Barbie winning? Is Ryan Gosling worthy of Best Supporting? I'll take the first question first. What awards do we see it winning? I do think it's going to win original screenplay. Production design, I think it's going to potentially win. I think it might lose the Poor Things. But production, I think it could win. It'll win Best Original Song 100%. Mm-hmm. I think Billie Eilish is about to win her second Oscar. And then I think it's in the running for picture. I really do. I think it's probably top 3 for picture right now. And as far as Ryan Gosling, is it worthy of Best Supporting? When? I don't know. Maybe.
He's definitely in the running. He's definitely in the running.
I think he's in the conversation because what? Best
Yeah.
supporting. I'm looking at my predictions for Oscars. Supporting actor.
Yeah, shout out to
I
my
mean,
Geek
I
Vibes
think
Nation crew. You feel me?
Robert Downey Jr. is probably going to win, but
Yeah.
but
We go
honestly,
back
like
on.
I would love to see like William Dafoe nominated and Mark Ruffalo nominated for Poor Things.
Yeah,
But
look, the categories, because they're so small, and like our, especially our nominating, we have to pick three. Some of these were very hard, especially supporting. It's very difficult to narrow it down to three, because you go, okay, this is for definite, and then you start looking through like the movie. Well, wait, what about shit? And you're like, and then either it's hard to. So what you got to figure out how you're gonna go off of it. Am I gonna go off the impact it left on me? Am I going to go for this is my favorite of those movies? So I picked it's very difficult because when you really think about it, all of it is very subjective. Some people are swayed by the popularity, some by I'm going to be anti, and some are just like you have to make a pro and cons list. Like, okay, who had more screen time? Who had a bigger impact in the film, or who made me laugh, or who made me cry? There's a lot that goes into trying to narrow it down, which is why it takes so damn long to put them lists together.
And to be honest with you, one performance that has stuck with me multiple times now in my 2 times watching it, and I don't think I hope it's not going to get the credit it deserves. The film should get the love it will, but Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction is one of my favorite performances of the year. That entire film deserves a whole thing. Best documentary still a Michael J. Fox movie. There is approximately 50 better documentaries this year. It's still a great documentary though. But by far my favorite favorite pick of this entire thing was seeing Best Ensemble not go to Maestro, not go to Barbie, not go to anything else, not go to Oppenheimer, Poor Things, or anything else, but it went to the Iron Claw. This was the most incredible pick that I think I've saw this year. I'm just so excited that it got some love because it deserves it. And I still think we're embargoed on the Iron Claw, I think, until the week of release. I don't even know. I know we can socially talk about it, but I have like a 1,500 word review about it coming soon. But
it's good to see an ensemble where every person in the ensemble has a real effect on what's taking place. A lot of times it's like a huge cast with these big known names, and some like made an impact, some were just there, and you get excited because it's this person I really love, but then you have to look like did they matter to the ensemble, and if they didn't, you really can't hold them up like that.
All right. The top films of 2023, which already excites me because we see another movie. We see the movie we just talked about on there, but top to bottom, we have Barbie, The Boy and the Heron, Ferrari, The Holdovers, The Iron Claw, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, and Poor Things. On the surface, what did you think of the list?
I mean, the majority I'd say are on my list. There's two. I think there's two that are not, and they'd be on my top 20. Like The Boy and the Heron, I enjoyed it a great deal.
Same.
And it's in my. I think it's either in my foreign feature, or it's in my international feature, or animation. I can't remember which one, but I mean, it's a great movie. It's just. It's hard
top 9
to put
movie
that.
Of the year.
Yeah, and then Ferrari, I wish I could have watched it sooner to let it sit with me more. And I'll probably watch it again before, if it gets nominated. I'll probably watch it again to make sure if I want to pick it or not, because I enjoyed Ferrari. I mean, that crash scene. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can't say too much about it yet because of maybe because it came out in one of the festivals recently, right?
Yeah.
But that crash scene I didn't see it coming. It took me by surprise, and I had an audible "holy shit," and then I had to go back and go, "Hold on, man, hold on." And because the way it's set up is kind of like something is about to happen, but you didn't expect this.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's a great film. Whenever I think Christmas, 2 days before
I
Christmas.
think so. Yeah. 22nd. I think everything's coming out the 22nd.
Yeah, it's worth seeing. It's definitely worth seeing.
Yeah, and the performances are really good. Driver and Penelope Cruz is so good.
She scared the shit out of me in that movie. Man. Don't fuck with Penelope Cruz.
All right.
But yeah, that's a solid list though.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the list, I mean, you have 9 films, 6 of the 9 are in my top 10. So I can't be mad about that. But with that said, I gave Dom the tall task and myself the tall task of ranking these 9 films from bottom to top. Dom, give me your 9 through 1 on this top 9 of the National Board of Review.
All right. So, this people gonna be mad at me. Possibly. I have 9, The Boy and the Heron.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have The Holdovers.
Mm-hmm.
Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where it gets a little dicey. Then I have Barbie. I have Past Lives, The Iron Claw, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Maestro.
You had me for a minute. Our bottom 3 are the same bottom 3, same exact order. The Boy and the Heron, The Holdovers, Ferrari. This is where it got dicey for me. To be honest with you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 are like so. Well, I lie. My top 3 stays the same. The next 3 I could have intertwined any which way, but I went Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Barbie. Then I went the Iron Claw, Maestro, Past Lives. But that's 6. If you look back in 10 years from now, you look back and you look at these 6 films, I guarantee you these are going to be. People are going to look back. This is one incredible year, and that doesn't even include the movies that we've already talked about that are not in this category, and we talked about otherwise. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's pretty great list though. I mean, I can't really be mad of this. I mean, if you're hitting 6 of my 9 that are in my rankings, then I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, so. I think that we're going to see across the board through almost every single critics group that there's going to be at least 5 films that everybody has in their top 10. I think that's pretty easy to predict. And you know, and I know people outside of, you know, our industry, I don't know, outside of what we do, they're going to be like, you guys all talk to each other and y'all just, make sure you put this one film at the top. And it's like, we really don't. We all, if you look on Twitter, just look up film Twitter. We argue. I don't personally. I might like a post, so it's kind of a passive, like, yeah, what he said. But there's lots of arguments on what is considered a good film, which ones are the top. So there is very much a rift in most of the talk. But at the end of the day, like these lists, 5 out of the 9, 5 out of that 10 of the other one, they're all gonna be the same. Maybe in different orders, but they're gonna be the same.
Yeah, but remember, if you see people's list, like, it's their list though. Like, allow people to like and not like films. Just because it's not in their top 5 doesn't mean that you have to hate on their list. But all right, Dom, before we go, I want you to what have you been watching? What do you recommend to the masses here for movies that you've watched recently that they can watch?
Okay, I will say recently I watched on Netflix. It's on Netflix now. Leave the World Behind is a good little I say like Bird Box meets The Mist. It's a fun little ride, man. Like, me and the wife are like, the tension it builds at the beginning, and you don't know why it's there, but it's there, and you can feel it, and you're like, what is going on? I know people that hate it, and I was like, I don't understand the hate, because it's topical for one and terrifying. It is the way that it plays out is one of the most terrifyingly possible things that can happen, and it's the hard truth of what they say. Kevin Bacon gives a kind of a speech, or the little interaction with him and Mahershala, and it's like, this is exactly what would happen. Like this, this divide that's already there, and it doesn't take much to explode this powder keg, and that's exactly what it would. It's crazy. It is crazy.
It is, and it's really good though. Like I really,
I loved it.
It's getting so much hate for like no freaking reason.
No, because I mean the first thing my wife said is that she was, I think, in the kitchen for like the first 5 minutes, and she's coming back, and she was like, "This kind of feels like a Jordan Peele movie," and I was like, "You're not wrong." And I think it also is if you watch Knock at the Cabin and then watch this, it kind of feels like this is what is happening outside of the cabin.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I like this a lot better than I did Knock at the Cabin. So,
oh yeah,
like I didn't really like Knock at the Cabin. So,
dude, it's a surprise. Like I think that a lot of people will like it. Just give it a chance. Don't listen to the people who overthought it. That's what it was. People overthought it.
Don't listen to the haters.
Yeah. And then we also have been watching the Squid Game competition challenge.
I've liked it.
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
No. I think we're on episode 6.
So you don't want me to spoil it for you?
No.
You're like, nah, bro. What are you talking about?
No, but it's really fun because once you have a kind of person you're rooting for, they can be gone at the drop of a hat.
So it's crazy to me, like when you're watching it, like it's hard to root for anybody. Like,
yeah,
I have found maybe like 2 or 3. I found early on the show, I found 2 or 3 people I really liked, and then like within the same episode, they were gone.
Yeah, I really like the old man, and then his little buddy with the mullet, not the scared mullet guy, but the other mullet guy. And I was like, what are you doing? Why did you? Hold on.
Yeah, it's crazy. I agree with you 100%. Like I really, it's been really good, and I think I'll be interested what you think about the finale and stuff. It's definitely interesting to see what they do with the finale. Okay, so you took my pick for the streaming movie. I was going to talk about the Leave the World Behind and tell everybody not to believe what they've read on the internet about it being bad, because it's just not true. Right. I really like that. For those of you that don't, or probably do know, or might not know, Wonka does drop in theaters this Friday. Highly recommend it. You can check out our review right here on the YouTube channel of both of our thoughts on that movie. Very excited to kind of get the masses and their opinions on that movie, because it's really cool. If for some reason you missed Oppenheimer in theaters, it's coming back in theaters this week. It's coming back for a little bit of a limited run. So if there's a reason that you might have missed it, I think it's in theaters now. Very excited about that. If you have the opportunity to see The Boy and the Heron on the big screen, that's another one that I highly recommend, because that I really did kind of enjoy that. But yeah, I'm excited. It's kind of slower a little bit now for both of us ish. We do have an interesting screening coming up around the corner. We're going to see Aquaman and the Lost Turtles, or whatever it's called, and Aquaman and Lost Ninja Turtles. I don't know what it's called, but
shout out to Yaya, man. That's why I'm watching it.
But yeah, I definitely think that's going to be a movie that we watch. But over the next couple of weeks, Dom and I are going to be doing some fun stuff. Next week, we'll talk about the CCA nominations, which should be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about that, because nominations drop again on Wednesday. Next Sunday, we'll talk about our nominations, share some of our picks in each of the categories. After that, probably throughout the end of the year, Dom and I are going to be talking about our best of. We'll probably do best performances, best movies, it's best TV, maybe I think we might do a stand-up comedy centric special or episode, because I think that would be a lot of fun, because both of us watch a lot of stand-up. But make sure to check out all of Dom's incredible work and writing over at geek5snation.com. Sure. Follow him on all social media outlets, wherever that is. I don't remember. It's like King_Fish, or I don't really know.
Twitter, the Dom Fisher on Instagram. That's
Dom
where
Fisher
I met most of them.
Yeah, follow him on Instagram there too. It's probably the links as well. I don't ever remember his. But yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just rambling, but it was a great episode, and we'll talk to you guys next week.